Hi, I'm Dr. Jenna Conde and I'm a Senior Lecturer in Digital Society in the School of Social Sciences at Western Sydney University. I am recording this video on the lands of the Darug and Gundungurra people, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and future. I acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded and that has implications for living, learning and working on stolen lands. Those must be recognised, and a pod on identity is a really good space to do that, to take responsibility for the politics of our identity positions and the locations we inhabit with our digital technologies, platforms and devices. Why identity? Why are we using that concept? Well, here are 5 reasons why we're using it to understand ourselves and who we are becoming in times of advanced technologies, capitalism and climate crisis. There are more reasons than 5, but 5 will do for now. First reason, identity is a really commonplace term that people use to understand themselves. If you look up in the dictionary the definition of identity, it means to be the same as and to be different from. So it's about sameness, but also about specificity. What a contradiction, but it's one that many people can navigate and one that many people can deal with. So our first reason then is for exploring with the concept of identity is because people are really familiar with it, they can use it, therefore it's a really good concept to start thinking with, learning with and doing stuff with. Reason number 2 is that identity and technology are enmeshed and entwined together. My 8-year-old stepson wanted to help make this video, so I took the opportunity to ask him, what does identity mean to you? And he said, it means that someone is scanning your eye. And I said, oh, does it? What else does identity mean? And he said, identity is when you are protecting your files and your passwords. And he also didn't want to be identified by his name in this video because he needs to protect his identity. So perhaps for younger generations now, identity is almost synonymous with technology, with digital surveillance, security and protection. What it means to have an identity is being reworked by technology, our digital infrastructures and digital systems that we use in everyday life. So we need to take that reworking and its consequences very seriously indeed. Reason number 3, lots of people are interested in identity. Governments, companies, universities, social media platforms, researchers. Who is galvanising where and around what socio-cultural activities? Our identities are valuable data points that can convey both political and consumer sentiments. Those producing knowledge about people and societal change are orientating around the concept of identity too. As you will see, identity in the technology studies literature is really key, and that's an excellent reason to be using it within our reflexive work as well. Identity is a very flexible and fluid concept that's being used across disciplines and in interdisciplinary ways to address a range of different issues within society. Reason number 4, identity can be used and applied in anti-essentialist ways. What do I mean by that? Well, essentialism can be defined as a belief in the real, true essence of things, that people have fixed properties which define their whatness. It defines the whatness of a given entity. But, we have rapid change. That's what we're currently facing in this convergence of crises in the 21st century. So therefore, we need a really flexible, fluid, dynamic concept to understand ourselves and our capabilities and the possibilities for the world we are making. So identity can be understood and worked with as a process, a project, a never-ending task that's always changing. We should not be finalising and fixing people down with static notions of who they are and all that they can be. So identity is a really good concept for dealing with change. And reason number 5, as a concept, identity enables us to examine issues of power, equality and representation. We do not all move through the world and the web equally. We have algorithms of oppression, automated inequality and now calls for design justice. Identity can enable some of us with agency and control over who we are, who we're becoming and representing the groups that we belong to well and seeking out visibility on online platforms. But it also calls us to question the powerful structural processes of identity that seek to shut down change and maintain existing power structures. Digital platforms are really part and parcel now, and we need to agitate to change their oppressive practices where we see them and where we are subject to them. Working with identity as a conscious project means we can account for the subject positions or locations that we can take up or inhabit and identify those that are available to us given where we fall on the axes of difference, so in terms of gender, race, class, sexuality, age, place, employment status, for example. How do these identity markers intersect to enable and constrain us differently in digital spaces? Digital platforms afford different subject positions and locations for different people. They can enable and constrain who we are by what kinds of cultures and communities they are facilitating and fostering in the way that they're designed, managed and governed. So the structural markers of difference and the power relations that are bound up within our identities make possible new social movements and radical social change. And it is within our identities and our identity making that we can act and become networked and connected with one another to mobilise using digital platforms for social change. So there you have it, 5 key reasons why we are using the concept of identity, or identities, the plural, to understand ourselves and what is possible with technologies for now and into our futures.